Hi guys, my name is Stephanie and you're highly welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys a step-by-step process on how I actually draft and cut this trendy gown with side gathers. So if you're interested to know how I actually made it, please keep watching till the end and don't forget to subscribe, like and share. So I have 2.5 yards of this beautiful fabric that I'll be making use of at the course of this project, and I also have the lining that I'll be using to line the inside, the zip, and I have the pattern paper I'll be drafting on, the elastic I'll be using for the sleeve, and I have the thread, the scissors, and I also have the tape I'll be using to take the measurement with. Guys, the first thing I'm going to do is to be drawing a straight line at the upper side, which will actually serve as the starting point, and then the next thing is to be marking from the upper side, which is the shoulder line, all the way to the bust point, which is 10 inches, and also from the shoulder line to her under bust, and then to her half length or waistline, which is 15 inches. So now from the waistline, I'm going to be marking 8 inches downward, which is going to serve as her hip point, and I'll also go ahead and connect a straight line from there to this side. I'll do the same thing to other points as well, from the half length and then under bust and then bust point. So the next measurement I'll be taking is the full length of the gown. So it's actually going to be a short gown, right? So the full length that I'm making use of is 38.5, but because of folding allowance and sewing allowance at the shoulder side, I'm going to be leaving it at that. It's actually 39.8 there. So I'm going to be marking the neck width of 3 inches. You can make use of 3.5 depending on your own preference. So the shoulder, I'm going to be dividing it by 2. Her shoulder is 14 divided by 2 is 7, so I'm adding half of an inch, making it 7.5. So I'm going down from there by 1 inch for shoulder slope. So after doing that, I'm going to be slanting the shoulder with my ruler, just the same way you see like this. I'll slant it all the way to the neck width at the upper side. So now the next thing is to be marking the armhole. So I'm making use of 7.5 inches. I'll go ahead and mark the 7.5 inches right there, and I'm also marking the 7.5 for the shoulder there, so that I'll actually get a straight line when I'm actually connecting. So now I use my ruler and then connect a straight line to where the shoulder slope actually stops. And the next thing I will do is to divide the armhole by 2, the 7.5 by 2. So what I will get there from that shoulder slope line, I will just mark it right, I place that mark it right there to serve as the middle point, and then I'll go in by half of an inch. So that's actually what I did. So from there, from the 7.5 inches, which is like the armhole, is going to serve as the chest line as well. That's why I'm actually marking a straight line to connect it to this side. So now I'm going to be dividing her bust by 4. Her bust is 32 by 2 is 16 by 4 is 8. So I'll go ahead and mark the 8 inches right there to be able to actually connect the armhole. So I'm just using my curved through to actually connect the armhole just the same way you see like this. So I'm just marking a straight line with a ball pen so that all the lines will actually be bold enough for you guys to see, because the pencil was not clear enough. So that's the chest line, that's the bust point, under bust, and then half length or waistline, and then hip point. So guys, the next measurement I'll be taking is her nipple to nipple measurement. So her nipple to nipple measurement is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. So I will just go ahead and divide it like that, and then I'll be marking from the half length or waistline just the same way you see like this. I will do the same thing to the under bust line and then bust point and chest line as well, and I will go ahead and connect a straight line connecting all the points together. So guys, so after doing that, from the hip point, I'll be moving up by 3 inches just the same way you see like this. I will mark because I'll be creating that in front. So I'll go ahead and connect the straight line to the point that I mark right there, and then from the under bust line, I'm moving down by about half of an inch because I wouldn't want that to extend to the under bust because of the style I'm actually making. So from the half length or waistline, I'm moving outward by half of an inch and inward by half of an inch. So I'm just using my ruler to actually connect it, the downside to the half of an inch, to slant it like that, and then slant it to where the half of an inch away from the under bust is, just the same way you see like this in this video. So now I just use my marker to actually make the lines to be more bold so that it will be more pronounced. So guys, now I already divided her bust 32 by 4, which is 8 inches, as you can see. So I'm adding 1.5 inch for sewing allowance, just the same way you see like that. So I'm connecting the line to the bust point as well. So now I'll be inserting her waistline. Her waist is 24 divided by 2 is 12, by 4 is 6. So I'll be marking the 6 inches, and then I'll be adding 1 inch of the darts that I actually marked. I'll be inserting it, that's 7 inches. Mark the 7 inches, and then I'll be adding extra 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. And then the next measurement is the hip is 34.5 divided by 4 is 8.65. So I'll go ahead and mark it and then add 1.5 inch of sewing allowance as well. So I'll be connecting the point. So the downside is just going to be straight. From that hip point, I'll take it straight. So I'm just connecting the lines just the same way you see like this, from the upper side all the way to the half length and then to the hip point, and then I'm connecting from the downside. It's actually going to just be straight, okay? It's not going to be pencil. So I'm just trying to adjust it from this hip point so that it doesn't end up pointing, and then I use my marker to make the lines to be more bold. So from this chest line, I actually marked her bust divided by 4, which is like 8 inches, and then I went in from that 8 inches by 1.2 inches, okay, because of how the style is actually going to be. And then the neck depth I'm making use of for this style is going to be 7.5 inches. So if you want it to be deeper, as you can see by the style, you can make it to be more deeper, but she doesn't want her boobs to show, she doesn't want her cleavage to show too much, so that's why I actually went down by 7.5 inches alone. So from that under bust, from the nipple to nipple line, I'm just making like a rough sketch, just the same way you see like this, all the way to the 1.2 inches that I marked this side, and then all the way to the 7.5 inches that I marked for the neck depth, as you can see like this. So I'm just using the marker to actually make the lines to be more bold so that you guys will see. So now from the neck width, I'm going to be marking like a V neckline all the way to the neck depth, just the same way you see like this. So this actually how it's going to be. So from the waistline, I'm moving down from the waistline by 1.5 inches because of the style, because of the side gathers by the side of the style. So now from that hip point, I'm moving in by 3 inches. Actually marked 3 inches, so I'm going to be marking 3 inches all the way to the downside of the gown, just the same way you see like this. So you guys know that like the fabric is actually going to be unfold, so by the time I open it, it's going to be 6. So if you want it to be wider, you can make it 3.5 inches, but 3 inches is actually okay for me. So I'm marking the 3 inches just below the dart line, just the same way you see like this, and I've connected it. So now I'm going to just be making like a rough sketch, connecting it all the way to the 3 inches that I marked at the downside. So I'm going to be passing under the dart, not above the dart, just the same way you see like this. So you can see how the whole thing looks like. So I'm just trying to like make it be more bold with my marker so that it will be more pronounced. So I'm marking 1.5 inches, so that's actually going to be how I'm going to be dividing it. There are actually five sides now, so I'll be connecting a straight line of all the sides all the way to the downside, because there is going to be like a split and splash method that I'll be doing at the end of the day. So that's 1, 2, 3 and the 5th piece that I'll be cutting out. So guys, this is just all for the drafting of the front piece. Now I'll just go ahead and cut it out from the shoulder line to the armhole and all the way to the sides. Cut it all the way to the downside, and then the neckline as well. I'll cut from the neckline as well, and then I'll be cutting from this underbust line that I actually marked. So here I should have actually cut all the way to the armhole, but I later on corrected it because I didn't want to cut it open from the chest line. So you just cut it all the way to the armhole. So now on these sides, I'm just also going ahead to cut it following the measurement that I actually marked. And then these are all the pieces that I have. So I'm just going to be marking it. This is the center front and this is the side front, okay? So by the time I divide it, I'll know all the pieces. I will not mix them up, and I'll go ahead and cut out this dart just the same way you see like this. I'll just divide it. So this is how it's going to look like. I'll be cutting all the pieces separate. So for the back piece, I've gone ahead to mark from the shoulder to the bust point to the waistline, and then to the hip point, which is 23 inches, and all the way to the full length of the gown. And I've also gone ahead to mark 1.5 inch of zip allowance and I also marked the neck width of 3 inches, and then the shoulder, which is 7.5, and I went down by 1 inch to create a shoulder slope, and then the armhole of 7.5 like I did for the front. Okay, so all the measurements I explained it, and nipple to nipple measurements as well, I divided it by 2, and then I marked the line. So from the hip point I also went up by 3 inches, just the same way I did for the front. And then from this bust point, the back one is actually going to be up a bit. I'm going down by 1 inch from the 10 inches. Okay, I went down by 1 inch, so that's where the dart is going to start and that's where it's going to end. All right, so now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to be dividing a bust of 32 divided by 4, which is 8. I also mark it right there, starting from after the 1.5 inch for zip. Okay, so I went ahead to connect the armhole. The armhole is not going to be as deep as the front one, so from the waistline I went in by 1/2 inch, I went out by 1/2 inch to actually create the dart effect, just the same way you see like this. So I'm just connecting it with my ruler and then connecting it to the upper side, just the same way you see like this. So after connecting from the downside to the 1/2 inch, I also connected it to the upper side. So now I'm adding 1.5 inch at the bust line for sewing allowance as well, and I connected the armhole. I'll divide the waist measurement 24 by 4/6. I'll add 1.5 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for the dart. And now hip of 34.5 divided by 4, which is 8.62. I'll add 1.5 inch for sewing allowance as well. So I'll go ahead and connect all the points and mark it straight all the way to the downside. So I've gone ahead to do that, as you can see. So from this zipper side, I'm moving in by 1/2 inch from the waistline. I'll move 1/2 inch to avoid zip bulge at the back of the dress. So I'll slant it just the same way you see like this with my ruler to the 1/2 inch, and then I'll also slant it like this all the way to the downside. Made use of the neckline of 3.5 inches, so the depth for the back is going to be 1.5 inches. So I've gone ahead to connect it just the same way you see like that. So now this piece I'll be using to do the slash and spread method, I'm going to be placing it right from the original measurement from this hip side. I'll just place it. The down is also going to be the same. Okay, you see that the lines are actually aligned, and it's also right under the dart line. So you see that from there it's also 3 inches, stopping from where the zip allowance actually stop. Okay, so now I'm going to just trace it out on this back pattern paper just the same way you see like this. I'll just trace it out from there all the way to the downside of the back pattern paper. So the excess from this side is not among the measurements like I explained. So now after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut out everything now following the marked measurement, just the same way you see like this. So from this zipper side, I'll just follow this 1/2 inch that I actually took out for zip bulge. I'll also cut it out and then cut this side. So now I'll go ahead and pick out this one because I no longer need it, and then this back side I went ahead to remove the dart as well. By the time I actually placed it on the main dress and sew it to actually give it a nice shape at the back. And this one I will divide it because there's going to be like a slash and spread method for it. So I will go ahead and divide all the pieces. So this is what it looks like after I was done doing that, slashing them. And then this front, like I explained earlier, so because I'm not going to be cutting from the chest line, I will be extending it to the armhole just the same way you see like this. I will just extend it to the armhole so that it will be actually much more easier for me. I'll have the pieces separate, so I'll go ahead and cut it because I still actually use a seal tape to actually seal it. So I've gone ahead to cut it, and now is to be cutting on the fabrics. I've gone ahead to slash the pieces for the side gathers. So as you can see, this side I'm not supposed to sew. I actually went there to sew it. It's not supposed to be sewn, alright, and this side is supposed to be open. This side actually has the number 1, so the number 5 is not supposed to actually be cut. So the upper side I added 1/2 inch for the gathers and sewing allowance. So I actually made it an interval of 3.5 inches. You can actually make it 4 or 5 depending on how full you want it to be, but for me the fabric was not that big, it was not wide enough, and I went ahead to cut on the second piece. So it's going to be from two sides. All right, I wanted to cut on the second piece. So this is what it looks like. I wanted to notch from this side that is actually going down the bend from there. I did the same thing to this side as well. That's where the gather is actually going to stop exactly. All right, so just indicate it so that you don't get confused, and then the rest is going to be sewn straight. So I've gone ahead to cut the main fabric, two of the main fabric, two of the lining pieces on this piece, and then this side front I wanted to cut two lining and two of the main pieces, and this piece as well, this mid piece for the front as well. And I added, as you can see, I added sewing allowance for each of the pieces, just the same way you see like this one is actually the back. I've also gone ahead to cut two of it, two of the lining, and then I'm going to be cutting open this side for the darts, just the same way you see like this. I actually wanted to cut it open. So these are the pieces I'll be making use of to sew. So I'm going to be posting the sewing tutorial video after this one. Please come and watch it. It's actually detailed as well. This is the end result of the gown I made. It's really beautiful. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the sewing video. Bye.